Right, back live tonight. In Focus, the State Security Agency denies authoring a report currently circulating on social media. The alleged intelligence document, which purports to have been written by outgoing Director General Thembisile Majola, alleges corruption within the judiciary. The presidency has since dismissed the report as fake. Meanwhile, United Democratic Movement leader General Bantu Alomisa has written to Parliament's Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence asking about its veracity. He's also asking MPs to consider the allegations with the seriousness they deserve. The committee is yet to respond. Now, for more on that, we are now joined by Judges Matter Coordinator Alison Tilley. Alison, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. First and foremost, you have, I'm sure, been looking at this report and this particular story. Is this content that deserves to be taken with some degree of seriousness?
Well, in my view, no. I've had a look at the document, and while it purports to be from a former DG of State Security, it's in fact a document that's been developed by a single person. It makes allegations that I don't think can be substantiated. If indeed they can be substantiated, the correct procedure would be to make a complaint to the Judicial Services Commission, at which point a Judicial Conduct Committee could be appointed. If there's felt to be a case, a tribunal could be set up, and these allegations can be tested. There really is no value in simply putting something in the public domain and claiming its authorship to be somebody from State Security when clearly it isn't.
Yeah. So some of the judges included in that particular report, which is still to be determined its veracity, are judges that otherwise have been in a less than happy relationship with some politicians. Again, highlighting this tension and antagonism that is existing between the courts and politicians. Is this something that is healthy?
Look, I think there's always going to be, particularly with a constitution like ours, there is going to be a tension, and some of that is because we do like to run to the courts. We do like to go and make our case and have, particularly the Constitutional Court, rule on conflicts that we have. And as a result, there's been a significant politicization of the judiciary. The judiciary can only deal with the cases we take to it. If we didn't take them cases, they wouldn't be able to rule in them. So I think if we find that there is such a tension, we really should probably consider what cases we're taking and what we aren't, and why that does lead to politicization, which I think indeed it does.
Yeah, and your sense, certainly of the Judicial Conduct Committee, and that of Legal Aid South Africa at this particular point. Are you saying it is at a place where it is beyond reproach? They are, I suppose, the bodies that are being implicated here.
Well, I don't know that there is any basis to these allegations. If there is, then this is not the correct way to deal with them. They should be dealt with in the correct way, which would be to lay a complaint with the JSC and have it dealt with in terms of that procedure. Simply developing a document and then heading it from the ex-Director General of State Security and then specifically put a disclaimer at the bottom of the document that it is not in fact authored by the ex-DG of State Security. I'm not really sure why we're even talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the fact now that it has been put before Parliament, is Parliament the correct body to, I suppose, even interrogate this particular draft?
Not really. Obviously you can send anything to Parliament. You can send anything to a member of Parliament. Of course, you're completely entitled to do that. It does seem, though, that if you are, as a politician, going to take something like that seriously, you should at least do a little bit of due diligence on it. And I think just reading the document through to the end, which is difficult because it is long and relatively chaotic in the way it's written. But once you get to the end, and it specifically says that the document is not, in fact, written by the XDG, I really have to wonder why. I certainly, from my point of view, of course, many things are sent to members of Parliament, and it is their responsibility to take those things up where they feel serious allegations are made. It does seem that in this case they were taken seriously. Again, the only people who can do anything about this are the JSE. So if there is a concern that there is a genuine complaint that has a basis in fact, then that should go to the Judicial Services Commission, who would then be able to deal with it.
Yeah. Does it concern you, maybe it should, and it should maybe even concern others, that the battleground, or where this is playing out once again, is at state security level? And there have been, of course, a lot of concerns around the hollowing out of that particular institution, and whether or not the work to rebuild it is currently underway, and whether it is a good thing that it is sitting in the presidency, and so on and so forth. Does it concern you at all that this is where the battle once again is playing out?
I think it would, if I was persuaded that there is a battle and that is where it is being played out. I think an allegation has been made, but I'm yet to see. I mean, state security have said they have nothing to do with it. I think we need some evidence that this is in fact something that state security are in fact taking seriously, or considering it all. Because I think at this point, there's simply a statement by somebody that this document means something, and I mean it's long, it's 50 pages or roughly, and it's difficult to follow the thread of the argument. I mean, it seems to be basically an employment complaint, that somebody was thought that a position was open and it should have been offered to him, and he didn't get the position, and the position remains open, and he still doesn't have the position, and he finds that unjustifiable and in fact unlawful, which it may be. I'm not able to say anything about that. But again, if you have a concern about an employment law issue, then you probably want to go to the CCMA or the Labour Court. Asking state security to get involved doesn't seem appropriate.
Yeah. According to the UDM, given the length of the report and the details it is given, it strikes one as having been made of a considered mind, and that this information should be deemed of critical national importance.
Well, that's interesting. That's not my view. I would say that the document is long. It's not clear to me that the allegations made are substantiated. The allegations themselves are not clear. It's difficult to. I mean, there are several different people and organizations named. If this was true, it would involve a remarkable conspiracy across different judges, different agencies, bureaucrats. I mean, it really would be startling if these allegations were proved to be true. So, I'm afraid it's simply, at this point, it just doesn't add up for me.
Yeah. Alison, appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. Judges Matters Coordinator there, Alison Tilley.